gonna wait for a couple people to get on. It's probably not throwing notifications out, but I will wait. There we go. People starting to come on. Be sure to share the stream, everyone. So the other side that we normally go in from is closed right now. So it looks like this is the way that people who have been with the audit team are coming in. Now there are like residents back here, right? So normally this is not the way you would come in. From all the other videos I've showed you guys, you've entered from the south side, not the north side. Although it looks like the auditors have started using the north side. You can see kind of in the background there. Probably not going to be able to zoom in on my camera, but I can try. There we go. You can see all the cars parked over there. Those are people with the audit. I've seen traffic basically come in and out of the Fairgrounds because they are wrapping up the ballot tabulation or the hand recount right now. So you'll see people just coming in and out. There is security all over, so obviously that's been a thing that the fake news media has pretty much said, hey, you know, there's no security here. Well, I'm not going in because media is not allowed in right now, at least to my knowledge. So I'm going to cross the street here and I'm going to flip it back to me. Just give me a second, guys. I am working with a new gimbal, so still trying to figure that out. All right. So beyond that, the audit team has found some pretty interesting things, right? That has to do with the duplicate ballots, right? We've heard about the duplicate ballot issue. This guy just ran a light. But so we've heard about the duplicate ballots, right? Not having an original ballot number going with it. So that's been a major thing, right? That came out of the audit so far. The other piece that's come out is basically blank ballots. I saw that on Gateway Pundit. So not sure if that's factual or not, but if that is true, I mean, Maricopa County is in very deep trouble if someone, like one of their employees, decided to stuff the ballot box. If that's the case, if that's proven factual, and I have to say if, because we're on YouTube and it's going to get auto-censored otherwise, then that's a major issue, and I would hope the people who were violating the law there go to jail for a long time. But we'll know next week what the results are. Oh, how about now, guys? Can you hear me? Here, let me switch it over this way so the wind's behind me. Is that better? Or is it still windy? If anyone can give me a cue there. Anyone in chat? How's the audio? Is the audio better? Okay, cool. I'll just stand like this. So I was trying to get to the Coliseum in the background, but yeah, a little bit windy today. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm hopeful. I mean, like I've said throughout this whole time, and I have to repeat it for all the new viewers that are joining, right? The whole point of the Senate audit is not to overturn the results. Now, I'm not saying that could correct the results in the future, because that's been the thing. Everyone's saying you can't overturn the results, you're not overturning the results, right? Theoretically, they could, in the future, after this, try that. I mean, they could try fixing it and saying, okay, Trump actually won Arizona. Can we pull back the electors? That's a constitutionality question, which a lot of people that are smarter than me would probably be able to answer. I'm thinking that would be some major legal headache, though, if they were to try that. Not saying it's not possible, but not the intent of the Senate audit right now as it stands. The intent is to see where the flaws were in the election cycle, meaning what procedures they need to reinforce to make sure no alleged fraud can happen again. So what Senator Townsend has told me in person when I talked to her is they're going to be looking at auditing the voter rolls, right? That's step number one. Step number two, because of course Maricopa County is not going to do it. Stephen Richards, correct me, I probably butchered his name, but whatever. He's had months to audit the voter rolls prior to the election. He's been inactive on that, a lame duck, as it were. So, not really the best person to be talking about, how the audit team is doing it wrong, when you can't even audit your own votes, right? You can't even audit their own voter rolls when you've had people come up to you and say, hey, this person doesn't live here anymore. They moved out of state. Can you fix it? They're not fixing it. And that's been the other big issue. And I would suggest, if you guys are on social media, follow Marissa Hamilton on Twitter. She also ran for mayor in Phoenix. She's a great resource. Talked to her a few times, and definitely up to date on the politics behind everything. I believe it's EZAZ, which is their action committee that they do for getting voters out there and talking about various topics. I know the big one leading up to now was obviously the audit. So pressuring our legislative members to do the audit, which was successful, thankfully. So we're going to see the results from this, and it's going to be a domino effect. You already hear it's like Pennsylvania, Georgia, Nevada, a couple other states, and you guys can post in the comments. I'm probably missing a few, but you've already had a lot of legislative members from other states come and visit the audit team, see exactly what the procedure is, and then go from there. So they're going to come back to their own states, and they're going to look at their election playbooks, they're going to look at their election laws, and they're going to say, okay, this is how Arizona did it with the forensic audit. How do we continue that in our state to make sure that only the only people that voted were legal votes, right? Because like I've said, they found duplicate ballots in there, and that was a big story that was released. I better walk back towards my car so I don't get towed here. So give me a second, guys. Looks like streets transportation people are over there. But basically, they're going to look at that and they're going to say, were the people that voted legal votes? Because if we know that there were duplicate ballots with no original ballot to it, then that's obviously a fraudulent vote, right? Common sense would dictate that. Same thing with the report we heard today with Gateway Pundit about the potential just batch of ballots that was tossed into the mix there, which were blank. Because say, oh yeah, look, here's like alleged 2 million ballots, but there's only however many of those, a certain percentage of those that are actually legit, right? Okay, well, how did that happen? Like I said, if there was any fraud, the people who committed the fraud should go to jail. Plain and simple. I think that's a bipartisan issue, regardless of the candidate. And like I've told all my liberal friends, if Hillary would have, asked for an audit in 2016, yeah, that would have been her right to do so. Would have put the issue to bed. But then we had how many years of Russiagate? It's still going on. They're still blaming Trump for stuff. But then we look at the deals that Biden's doing with Russia, right? Allowing that pipeline to go through, all this other stuff. And it's just like, okay, who's really the Russian asset there? I always tell my liberal friends that, and they get annoyed. But back on the audit topic, guys, I'll be covering this this week once we learn more information. Again, we'll see what happens, but it's going to be interesting. This is the first domino to fall, and the DOJ is threatening, right? Garland's threatening right now, saying, anyone that's participating in the audits, we're going to look at coming after you, right, and charging you with crimes. And then you had was it Senator Wendy? I forget her last name. But one of the local Arizona state senators come in and say, well, feds, you try something, and you're the ones that are going to be facing criminal charges. We're going to have a good old Mexican standoff between the feds and the state. I mean, that's what it's boiling down to. I don't think Biden's that dumb. I mean, he is senile, right? Don't get me wrong. He's got that dementia going. But I don't think he's that senile to send in the feds to go arrest state legislative members. Correct me in the chat if you think otherwise. I mean, it's possible. We've seen how they arrested the people behind We Build the Wall, right? They came in, arrested those, like Steve Bannon and a few of those other guys. They arrested. Obviously, I think Trump put in a pardon before Bannon, prior to Trump leaving office. But you get the point. It's all retaliatory at this rate. You know, they want to go against the people who are a thorn in their side. That's what's happening here. Where do you see that happening, though? Do you see that in a constitutional republic? No. You see that in an authoritarian regime. And some of what Biden has done, fairly authoritarian. Especially, like I said, especially like when I said you have the DOJ stepping in and trying to interfere with a state-run function. You don't do that. I mean, the states have had the authority over the years to run their elections. Yeah, banana republic, exactly. The states have had the right to run their elections as they see fit. There is no civil rights issue going on in there, right? That's really the only time that the feds can step in, is if it's a civil rights issue. This is not a civil rights issue. This is an audit, which Maricopa County, mind you, claimed they did. But then if it was truly an audit, they would have had to let observers in, which they didn't, and the Republican Party sued over. So they're saying, oh yeah, we conducted 3 audits. But wait, no, you told the courts that it was not an audit. So which was it? They've already been caught lying. So which is it? You know what I mean? And this is what this audit's going to expose. I'm not one of those people that's saying, like I said, we know the Senate's intent, right? I think it's a long shot if they try to change the results and kick Biden out of office, right? It's a long shot. More than likely what would happen, and this is what's really critical for states to do, fix the elections. And by fix, I mean fix your laws to prevent, loopholes, right? The federal only ballot's a big thing, like I mentioned earlier. Securing that, so it requires a state form of ID to vote. Senator Townsend's working on this. Auditing your voter rolls to make sure that everyone who says they're a resident of your state actually is, and there's no illegal immigrants on there, because you have 20,000 federal only ballots in the state of Arizona. If any of those, let's just say 50% of those, right, were from, just there for Biden, right? Well, that actually puts the results in Trump's favor if those ones were found fraudulent. See how that works? Toss in the duplicate ballot issue with that. Who actually won the election, right? We won't know until the audit's completed. But I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want me to talk about while I'm down here? Anything I missed? Chat. Now's the time. Ask me questions before I get my other camera out and I start getting some B-roll. Anything you guys want to learn about the audit? I mean, building's right there. So I'm gonna aim the camera around here. So, I mean, that's pretty much all I got, guys. As I said, we're waiting on results, and then the state legislature is going to make adjustments as they. Yes, Robin, it is finished. They just finished the hand count today, so they're going to have the results of the audit next week. That's what they're aiming for, is next week for the results, which is good. It puts the issue to bed one way or the other. That's the way I look at it. Either there was fraud or there wasn't. We have signed affidavits that say there were. So, we'll see what happens. That is what's great about our country, right? Is we can do this, right? We have the 3 branches of government. Checks, it's what do they call it? Separation of powers, right? Checks and balances. You learned that in school. Well, hopefully most of you did. I know everyone here probably learned it, but the people that are anti-audit probably didn't learn that. They just think that, oh, their guy won, so we don't need to investigate any claims of fraud. And funny enough, how I've been saying this word a lot. That actually got me shadow banned. So you guys won't see a lot of our content unless you hit that notification bell. You got to share it with your friends. You have to, hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and like the videos. You got to make comments, because once we did that video about the forbidden C word, with Dr. Gold, we went from about 17,000 to 30,000 views on average covering this stuff down to a couple hundred. And we all know that Facebook just put out their new censorship policies for people talking about the C word. Same thing's happening with the election. They have election guidelines, they have filters, and the AIs will look through the content and say, oh, he's talking about this. We're going to deboost that. So even if it's factual, Facebook, the major media, right, the big tech oligopoly, they want to censor content, and that's what they're doing. So it's patriots like you that are sharing this. That's how you're going to get the word out. So on that note, guys, I am going to drop off and get some B-roll here really quick with my other camcorder. So I'm going to do that and, you know, go from there. So like I said, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you haven't. And I'll see you all next time. Again, thank you for watching, guys. And if I can figure out how to hit the end button on here. All right, see you guys.